Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to pull some cards, yay, and share some guidance for the next 4 days. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd of May. It's great to be back. I've had a nice break from streaming videos. I've had a nice break from social media, and I've had a really beautiful birthday last week, and I'm so grateful that I put some time aside to enjoy that away from social media and just deep in nature. If you could imagine going deep into the oldest, not oldest, but an ancient rainforest full of moss and fungi, mushrooms everywhere, waterfalls. It's just a whole other place, and it's been absolutely beautiful, and too beautiful to even describe in words, so hopefully you can feel it. I did share my experience in a blog yesterday, so if you haven't seen it, and you'd like to see it and read it, because there's lots of photos, I stumbled into the world of fungi. And oh my goodness, I have never seen so many different types of fungi, from tiny little blue ones, in fact tinier little turquoise fungi growing on the fallen old trees, up to like the turkey tail fungi. I mean, just it's so beautiful. So this whole world has opened up, and I find it, I mean, I've never really cared that much for mushrooms, you know, as far as eating them, and I still, I mean, they're okay. I could take them or leave them, and I'm not talking about consuming them. I'm talking about just the sheer enchanting beauty of these incredible things. So I shared lots of pictures in a blog yesterday. You can find it on my website, templeofbalance.com.au, under the blog tab, and then all written blogs if you want to read and see the pictures. So instead of doing social media, I just been drawing as well while I was away, and I was spending 3 or 4 hours doing these drawings of like abstract of the rainforest and what I was feeling. I also saw my first lyrebird, which is very interesting too. These little things, they look like a peacock sort of, but they're quite incredible how they mimic sounds of camera clicks and car alarms and chainsaws and other birds. Not that I heard that, but I've been looking into it. So it has been absolutely amazing. So I feel refreshed, I feel inspired, and I feel really calm coming into returning back to my work. So thank you for your patience while I was away last week. But as you could probably feel, I had a great time, and if you want to explore it further, please have a look in the blog. So I'm here to pull some cards. First of all, I want to send out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. Your support helps me be able to keep doing my work, and for that I'm very, very grateful, and have been for the last over 19 years now, as we move towards our 20th birthday in February. So I'll talk more about that in other videos. I also want to, I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia. I've got to get back into the swing of things, don't I? Now I'm choking up on myself. I'm coming to you live from Tasmania, Australia, where it is Monday the 20th of May, and the time is 8:33 a.m. Now, if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'm going to be doing is using my oracle cards that I created, and it's 2 decks combined. We've got the Speed of Light oracle cards with my Animal Kingdom oracle. So I've got 110 cards here to play with, and we're going to be using this deck to find the best cards for Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, and then the best card for the theme to help us see the bigger picture for these particular days. I'm not pulling one. So I trust that you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared supports you at this time. Please take on board what feels right and what resonates and what fits into your life easily and what makes sense to you, and please let the rest go. So at some stage I'm going to be lighting the candle as well, as I've been doing in my last few videos. It feels sacred, and I want to and after being away, I want to even more just connect in with the sacredness of moments. And this is creating little rituals, little sacred things, from lighting a candle to stopping and expressing or thinking thoughts of gratitude for people or things that we're grateful for, to going on some perhaps sacred or more spiritual visual things, vision quests, healing walks. I want to include that more into my life. So a part of introducing that is to light a candle. Something small, something easy, something sacred. So let's say hello to you. Well, it's great to see you all. Welcome. Hi, Kyle and Daniel and Janie. Welcome. Hi, Jenny. And Janice is here. Louise, good morning. Ziena, thank you. And Pamela, welcome, and welcome to you all. Let's get started. So as far as the candle goes, I'm just going to light that when I feel the impulse as I'm sharing. I don't know when that will be. It will be sometime before the end, at the very least. I don't know what we're going to be lighting it for, but I'll find out as we go. Good morning, Donna. Thank you. Hi, Nadine. Thank you. Thanks, Jenny. All right, let's now look for the best card that the majority of us need for Monday, the 20th of May, 2024. And the best card that we need is, it's this. It's an Animal Kingdom Oracle card, and it is Stellar Cycle. It's a featured timing card. It has further instructions here which say to take the fourth card from the top of the deck. So I'm going down to card 4, which is a Speed of Light Oracle. And we have this great card, the Creation card, card 29 actually. 29. So these two cards have come up together for a reason. I'm going to look at them separately first, then we'll look at their relationship together. Now, because this is a featured timing card, well, it's card 55. It says Stellar Cycle. And it's a featured timing card. The Animal Kingdom Oracle have 4 of these different timing cards. So this specifically talks about 1 year. Now, if it is around your birthday, if your birthday was, say, about 3 days ago or in 3 days or is today, then this is especially important for you in regards to your 1 year cycle. Because my birthday was on the 14th, which was a few days ago, I could still count this personally for me as talking about my new year of my being 48. But this is the long term. It's about a year. So it's about now until about May 2025. But it could be a bit shorter or a bit longer as well. So we're looking at the long term. And whenever we get cards like this, or this particular card, that signifies the long term, it can talk about a cycle that we are moving into, or that we have moved into already, or that we're preparing to move into, that is more in the long term. So it's more in the next year, the next couple of years perhaps as well. So what are you thinking about at the moment that involves your long-term plans, your long-term goals? What are you trying to set yourself up for in the future? Is it your retirement? Is it an empty nest? Is it the next phase of your life? And it comes up with the Creation card 29. This down here says, Source, Uncoil, Light, and Authentic. This is about coming out of hiding, basically. It's about opening and uncoiling ourselves. So I see this as like being tightly coiled up like a snake, and tightly like curled up, so tightly bundled up and tightly packed up, tightly packed away perhaps, where we perhaps are tense and tight and packed away and holding back and perhaps hiding a part of ourselves as well. This particular card is about kind of softening that tight coil, that tight knot or whatever it is that we're holding ourselves in, to open that now and soften it and allow ourselves to open up. Now, it might not be open up in a huge way, although from being tightly coiled to opening up a little bit can actually feel like a lot. So what do we need to do, especially as we consider the long term, as we consider the next year? What do we need to do to open up? Do we need to recognize that we've been too tense, too tightly coiled up, too tightly tucked away? Have we been trying to hide ourselves in a corner? Have we been feeling just tense in our body? And does that tension need to be potentially softened and opened? And maybe we can relax a little bit more. There is a sense of our true self that wants to come out, and it's like an emergence, really, of sorts, like an emerging from the cocoon, emerging from the cave. There's that kind of feeling, but it's very physical in the body. So instead of being a bear, say, coming out of hibernation, it feels more like a tight knot of a place that we've perhaps been in that is softening, opening, and relaxing, expanding perhaps a little bit more. So in regards to these two cards together for Monday, perhaps we're looking at the long term. Are we worried and anxious about what's coming up? Are we worried and anxious about our health concerns at this time in regards to the long term or the longevity of our actual life? These might be some things that you might be dealing with. And how can we release this tension, trust in the unfolding, and be open to the journey that is our journey of life? And there are things that we face, that we all have to face, that are difficult and that are challenging, that really test us. So if you're really tested right now about your long-term life, your long-term health, the longevity of things, are you holding back in tense and a tight place about that? How can you consider softening and opening to perhaps enjoying the moments between now and then, perhaps letting things unfold, perhaps rising up to the challenge, maybe facing the difficulties that have been presented in the long term, or the opportunities. It doesn't have to be difficulties, because we can have fear and resistance even to good things that are coming. So let's see how that fits in for us. So that's for Monday. Let's now look for the best card for Tuesday, the 21st of May. So welcome, Tanya and Melissa, and Chris is here, and Shelley from Colorado, welcome, and Tammy. Oh, sending you lots of love there, Tammy. I'm sorry for your loss. Okay, the best card for the majority of us for Tuesday, the 21st of May, is... okay, let's go with this card. Animal Kingdom. We have the wolf. So the wolf is card 48, and it reminds us to secure our boundaries. So where have our boundaries been a bit relaxed? A bit too relaxed? Maybe some of our boundaries have been too enforced. And it really is a balancing act, a juggling act in regards to our boundaries and pretty much all things in life anyway. But we can have boundaries that are too severe, and we can have boundaries that are too relaxed. So it's finding our happy place, finding that balance in regards to, how do we find that balance? So how do I find my balance? My balance of boundaries is flexible, and I'm attentive to it regularly. And when I say regularly, I mean most days. If I feel like I'm giving too much of myself, or I'm draining myself, or I'm exhausted, or I'm overwhelmed, or I need a break, then that is a sure sign I need to look at my boundaries and reinforce them. And I'm reinforcing them really for myself, because I need to be clear about my boundaries in me before I go trying to enforce them and telling people no, or tightening this up, or relaxing on that. So before I even think about externalizing it and involving other people, I need to be clear about my boundaries myself. Otherwise, how am I going to communicate it effectively? So when my boundaries are clear in me in regards to what I need at the time, then I can then go ahead and reinforce them. Now, sometimes my boundaries need tightening more than other times, depending how I'm feeling. So it's a flexible thing for me. It's something that I have clear boundaries in regards to things like my phone. I have all notifications off. I choose when I go and check my Facebook and social media. I'm not having social media tell me when to check and what's coming up on social media. I'd just go insane, I'm pretty sure. So all notifications are off on my social media. That is a boundary that I have permanently up, because I don't want that to inflict on my everyday life I'm trying to live, which is more important than social media. Even though I love sharing here with you, the social media itself is not dominant for me in my life, and I don't want it to be. So I have boundaries that are clear on that are consistent and remain. But in regards to things in my life, it will depend on how I'm feeling and what's pushing me over the limit, what's helping balance me. What do I need to enforce? What do I need to say no to? Where am I too fierce and too up with my boundaries? Where have they become castle walls that I'm hiding behind and I need to defend? So if I need to defend myself, if I need to justify my actions, then I probably have too high a boundaries up, that I'm then in defensive mode. So I'm aware of the certain little signs that show me if my boundaries are healthy or not. So finding our boundaries that are healthy are, I feel, absolutely valuable in our life, so that we can keep some sort of sanity and some sort of balance and self-respect. So what's happening with your boundaries on Tuesday? Do they need further refining or securing? Have they become too tight and too restricting? Are you hiding behind your boundaries? Or are you just giving all of everything away of yourself and you are being treated like a doormat? Because people will take advantage of our kindness if we don't have some boundaries up and draw the line somewhere. So maybe something to think about for Tuesday. But how are your boundaries at this time? Okay, Wednesday, the 22nd of May. I'm looking for the best card for the majority of us. And that card, good morning, that card for Wednesday, that's 22nd, is this. And I've got a feeling we've got Candle coming up with this one. It's an animal kingdom. And we have the deer, the doe, actually, the doe card 41. And the doe says to feel deeply. This is where I'm going to light the candle. So take a nice big breath and just feel deeply, perhaps in your body. Don't be afraid of your feelings. In fact, the more you deny them, the louder they're going to become. And the more we have a reaction or issue with those feelings. So can you give yourself permission to take a nice big breath and feel into yourself, feel into your body, feel into what you've got going on, and how can you make some sense of it? What do you need to do? Where are you out of balance? Where do your boundaries need reinforcing or relaxing? Do you need to draw up some new boundaries for yourself because your current ones are just too complicated and too overwhelming and too messy? So, take a moment or two now just to drop into yourself and feel what you need and how you can find that you need. Is what you need, does it make sense to your rational mind? Does it make sense when you think about it in a common sense sort of way? Or are you running on an insecure tangent? Are you running on fear? Are you running on unrealistic expectations that you're putting on yourself or others? So I'm going to leave this candle burning for the rest of the video. And for Wednesday, the doe reminds us to feel deeply. There is a sensitivity that's coming up for Wednesday potentially for us. And we've been encouraged to, what would the word be? To find value in how we feel. Now, there's a balance too with this really, because we don't want to be running on raw emotion 24/7. And we also don't want to be blurting everything we feel out to every single person around us, keeping ourselves locked in that feeling. Feeling to me is personal. It's internal. It's a place of internal sacredness and internal exploration. It's a world inside of me. That's how I sort of treat it. And even though I try and be as expressive as I can with my feeling, it's probably only like 3 or 5% of the depth and breadth of feeling that I feel is what I might express to others. It's up to me to express it in my own personal way. And if some of that includes verbalizing, then I verbalize. Most of my feeling expression, which is getting the energy moving, the feelings out of me, getting it flowing, getting it moving like a river that's moving and flowing, not backed up inside me, then something like creating or a form of expression, even body movement, dancing, exercise, is a great things to express. And when we express, we get the energy moving, we get the feeling moving, the emotions want to be in motion. So think of it perhaps like a river. Are you backed up? Are you dammed up? Like is something damming you and you've just awash with emotion? Now, if you've just experienced a loss or you're going through a difficult time right now, then you've probably got all good reason to be feeling awash with emotion. And we feel like that when we go through big things. But if things are pretty much standard for you at this time and you're still feeling backed up with emotion and it doesn't make sense to your situation right now, then maybe you're backed up. Maybe you've dammed up the wall and you haven't allowed yourself to feel your way through. So it could feel like the dam wall breaks to begin with and you're flooded with emotion, but it will pass. So let yourself flow from feeling to feeling. That's how you know too if you're in the flow, because you feel a feeling, and when you're honest about it, it moves to another one, and then another one, and another one, and you're letting the feelings flow forward. And so see how you can work with them. See if you can work with them instead of rejecting and resisting them, because the more we reject or resist our emotions, which want to be in motion, then the more stagnant and stuck we become. So if you're feeling stuck or stagnant, it's a sure sign that you're probably not feeling your emotions to the fullest, and you're not being honest perhaps about the way you feel and letting things move. So the dough is reminding us of that sensitivity and of that mysterious emotional realm within us that we've been encouraged to listen to and tap into and work with. It's a great part of who we are, but we don't have to be excessive in our, feeling dominance. I find a balance with reason and common sense and being logical about things is really important. So I trust that makes sense. Okay, let's find the best card now for Thursday, the 23rd of May. So Thursday, the 23rd, and the best card is this. It's another animal kingdom, and we have the lunar cycle. So we're really in this timing thing at the moment. This has further instructions here, which say to take the second card from the top of the deck, and we have the cockatoo. So again, we've got another timing card here for Thursday. So it's lunar cycle and the cockatoo. They've come up together for a reason. So we'll look at them separately first. This is simple. This is talking about the cycle of the moon. So we're looking at about a 1 month cycle. So from about the 23rd of May till about the 23rd of June, there's some cycle in play that consists of a couple of weeks up to a month or so. And it's connected with the cockatoo, card 47, and it says to be compromising. So to find a compromise, to find a peace, to find a common ground, to find a way to find that common ground, perhaps with something within us that we're feeling tense about, or a difficulty in our life that we've also perhaps feeling tense about. It could be a relationship we have with another person, or it could be something that we're dealing with in our life that we're rejecting and feeling scared about and we're struggling to come to terms with. So there's a sense of discordance that's potentially coming up with this particular card. And that, you know, do we need to put our weapon down? Do we need to put our sword down? Do we need to stop the fight so we can find a compromise, find a way to make peace with this particular situation? So this is something that's probably going to be coming up on Thursday, but it might be something that we're considering, you know, over the next few weeks, the next month or so. Where do we need to find a compromise? There might be something that we need to say, because this is quite a verbal card, and there's a social element to the cockatoo as well. So there might be a social situation or a social thing, something that we're doing that's outside of our private little place where we reside. So there are our cards for Thursday. So thank you so much for joining me today. I have opened yesterday some soul readings for June. I've only got room for 3, and they're open now on my website, templeofbalance.com.au. The first 3 to order those, that there won't be any more. So if that speaks to you and you'd like a video reading, a personal one for you for June, this might be good if it is your birthday in June, for example, or if you've got some stuff going on and you'd like some perspective, then please have a look on my website for that. You can look up the store tab, and then everything in store will show you the latest things that I've put up. So that's available if you are interested. If you'd like to learn more about my cards, the Speed of Light Oracle or the Animal Kingdom, or the other cards I've created, the Healing Energy cards, you can learn more about those on my website as well. So if you would like to learn more about me and the work I do, please visit templeofbalance.com.au. If you've enjoyed this video, please interact. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching on Facebook, please show us some love. Or please comment, please share if you're inspired to. If you'd prefer to reach out more privately, you're very welcome to send us an email. So let's now look for the best card for the theme. The theme will help bring these days together and help us see the bigger picture for Monday through till Thursday. And seeing the bigger picture is so important. Sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees, and it's good to have new perspective of things where we step back and we can see the bigger picture and we can see potentially how things are playing out. We could perhaps look back in hindsight and see a bit clearer as to why we went through something that was very difficult or something that was amazing. So the best card for the theme for the majority of us for Monday the 20th through till Thursday the 23rd of May is, let's go with this. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card, and it's this. It's Overlapping Worlds, card 23. So this is very interesting. This card doesn't come up that often. It says transition, sensitivity, temporary, and adjustment. So this is talking about perhaps a lot of us are in a time of transition. What does that mean? To me, times of transition are when we're in between things. Perhaps we haven't quite moved out of a phase of our life yet and we're trying to adjust to a new phase or chapter of our life. Maybe we've got one foot in the old world and one foot in the new world, and we're sort of divided at the moment. Maybe we've had a lot of change that's happened lately and we're struggling to adjust to the change, or we're trying to adjust to the change, the new routine, the new way of life, our new life without that person with us anymore, for example. Maybe we've moved home and we're adjusting. Maybe we've changed jobs and we're adjusting, So transitional periods are times in between change. We may be physically somewhere but energetically somewhere else. So we're being encouraged to be patient with ourselves when we're in times of transition, because it requires us to be patient. We might feel overly sensitive. We might feel like it's going to always be like this. It can feel like it's forever, these transitional periods, but they are always temporary. It's always just a bridge that takes us from one place to the next. It's like a hallway that takes us, we're moved out of one room, we go through the hallway, and we get ready to enter another room. So the transitional period is like the hallway, and it's temporary. And sometimes it can be really reassuring for us to reassure ourselves that this is temporary, that it's not always going to feel like this. It's not always going to be like this, that this is just a temporary time period, a limbo, perhaps we might even call it, or I call it a time of transition. It's basically where we're adjusting to change, physical, especially physical. So it's temporary. We might feel overly sensitive. This is pretty typical when we're in transitional periods, and we could even feel overwhelmed. So let's be patient with ourselves as we move through this transitional period, as we embody and adjust and ground and anchor the changes that are taking place. The key really is to really find acceptance with that when we're ready. Can we accept the changes that are taking place, or is our body going through the motions while part of our mind wants us to be back where things were, or be in this other life that we envisioned for ourselves? So let's get back into alignment. And let's see if we need to find acceptance of where our physical body is and where we are in our life to help us get back into that alignment, back into balance, so we can then get out of the transitional period and back into the crux and core of our life. So thank you very much. Peace to you, and I trust you find some peace within your body and within your life, and that this transitional time period is temporary, and you can find your patience with it and your acceptance of it, and your use it as an opportunity to get back into connection and alignment with yourself. So thank you. I'll see you again later in the week. Have a great couple of days and take care.